Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and it is quite hard to make sure you're seen when we're so far away. I welcome the opportunity to contribute to this, and obviously we're supporting the increase in the estimates. Quite clearly, SMEs have suffered greatly in the last number of months, and our SME sector is a sector which is the backbone of this economy. It's a sector which employs in the region of 1 million people, and the forced closure on our SME, on the economy and on our SMEs, because for the sake of public health, has left them in a precarious situation. So it is so important that the July stimulus gets the support measures correct and right, because if we don't do that, we certainly run the risk of viable businesses going out of business. And with viable businesses going out of businesses, we will see job losses, and we'll see job losses right throughout the length and breadth of this country. And that is something we have to prevent. And that's why it's welcome to have an opportunity to contribute to this debate and to highlight some of the issues which I feel need to be addressed in the July stimulus. And I acknowledge in the programme for government there are many proposals which, if enacted or when enacted, will help address that. Previous speakers has alluded to the area of the temporary wage subsidy scheme. It has been a lifeline to so many businesses, and as previous speakers have said, it is important that certainty is given to businesses that this will continue for a number of months and that it will be tapered off as their turnover improves. And I think we need to look at the ability to extend it further than the number of people that are currently accessing it. You have many people, particularly in the hospitality sector, who take on people, seasonal workers, and those seasonal workers cannot avail of the temporary wage subsidy. I think that's something we need to look at, extending it to seasonal workers. The Restart grant, I was interested to listen to you, Tánaiste, and I wish you luck in your new role. When you said how much has been drawn down of the fund so far. I think the Restart grant, and I mentioned it to your predecessor, I think it was too restrictive. It just is solely based on people's rates of 2019, and it takes no account of the actual costs associated with reopening your business, with providing PPE gear, with providing screening, or whatever amount of work needs to be done. In Westmeath, the median rates of our businesses in 2019 was €1,800. So 50% of the businesses in Westmeath were paying €1,800. At best, all they are going to get now is €2,000. It's not a lot of money for businesses that have been closed for 14 weeks and who have a large expense in reopening. SBCI. I have been contacted, and I brought it to the previous minister's attention, by a number of viable businesses who have gone through the SBCI, who have received approval, and having received approval, gone back to their pillar banks quite clearly are saying no, they're not going to lend. What is going to be done for businesses if they cannot access liquidity? And I think that's why it is so important that, as a priority in the next number of weeks, the credit guarantee scheme is enacted, and it's enacted with favourable rates and with very little bureaucracy in terms of how businesses can avail of it. We should not have a situation where we're charging businesses who have been through so much 4 and 4.5% interest rates at a time when the state is borrowing at less than 0.25%. We need to ensure that viable businesses can access liquidity, and can access liquidity at favourable interest rates, just like the rest of our European Union counterparts are doing for their businesses. Commercial leases, again engaging with so many of our representative bodies. How commercial landlords are dealing with their tenants is on a case-by-case basis. In some instances, it must be acknowledged, they're dealing with them favourably, but in other instances they're not dealing with them favourably at all. And I think we need to ensure that a code of conduct is put in place so that people know exactly what's expected of them in dealing with their commercial leases. The restart grants. Minister, I was interested to hear you say that there are funds out there of €1,000 for people who don't pay commercial rates. €1,000 again for somebody who has been out of business for 14 or 16 weeks is inadequate. We have a golf club in Mullingar who runs as a business, who pays commercial rates every year, who, when they go to apply for sports capital funding, they're told they cannot qualify because they're a business. I think we should extend the restart grants to businesses such as that. And finally, and it has been alluded to earlier on, I want to make sure that this new government makes insurance reform a top priority. The manner in which insurance companies have been dealing with their customers is simply appalling. We have a situation whereby businesses in the hospitality sector are having to go to the High Court to get their just deserves. Businesses that have letters from certain insurance companies, FBD, wrote out and told them they were covered for business interruption cover, and now they're resisting all attempts to pay out on these policies. It's not good enough. And if you look across the water in the UK, the Financial Conduct Authority, they have instigated a test case themselves on behalf of their customers. They are representing the customers' 17 or 18 cases, and they're bringing that to court. Where is the central bank in all of this? They have issued letters, they have said what they'd like to be done, but where are they in terms of enforcement? It is not good enough that people who have paid excess premiums to have a policy in place is being forced to the court system to get their just deserves. And I hope and I do believe, based on the commitments in the programme for government, that insurance reform that has been promised for so many years will ultimately be delivered very early on in the lifetime of this new government.
Thank you.